Hello everyone, this is Dr. Whiting, and today I want to talk to you about a subject that is affecting the majority of people, probably worldwide, and that's the presence of excess stress. And I think it's important that you understand what that means. Most of us have stress in our lives in a varying degree that comes and goes. It's just part of living. And the human body is designed to deal with those types of stresses. And I'll show you the difference between those common stresses and the chronic stress that many of us are going through today. We have had one heck of a year, let's put it that way. We've had, of course, we've had political elections, which are now behind us. And that stress is probably relieved to some extent, one way or the other. The doubts and the questions are over. But a massive stress that has affected us since early in the year is the coronavirus, or COVID-19. And that is a worldwide epidemic. And unfortunately, here in the U.S., we're having a record number of new cases of this virus, more than ever before. And this was predicted by many scientists and data analysts. And because of that, and because it's ongoing, and it's probably going to be with us for a considerable amount of time yet, the amount of stress that builds up, worry over contracting the virus, worrying over family, high-risk individuals, parents, the elderly, worrying over economics, over our jobs. There's just so many uncertainties that have been generated by the presence of this virus for such a prolonged period of time. This is what we call chronic ongoing stress, and it can be very debilitating. So in order for you to understand that, let's take a look at some of the factors of stress. First of all, there are two basic types of stress, external and internal. External stress is the type of stress or the stress that comes from the outside world. Traffic jams, occupation problems, troubles at work, family troubles, etc. Internal stress is the stress we generate in our own head between our left and right ear, and our reaction to external stress. It's the internal stress we have the most control over, because through relaxation, meditation, prayer, focusing, good nutrition, dietary supplements, etc., we can help ameliorate this internal stress. And that will help us in the long run to make the external stress in our lives, whatever that may be, more tolerable. All right. I want to talk to you a little bit about what's called the stress response cycle. And the stress response cycle goes as follows. Let us say, for example, that you are coming out of a movie theater, if you can remember when you could come out of a movie theater. And let's say that the parking was difficult and you had to park a couple of blocks away. And as you walk towards your car in the dark, and you leave the movie theater area and the street gets darker and darker, your imagination can oftentimes play games, and you start to think you hear footsteps behind you. So you reach for your keys, you get the car key ready, and you quicken your pace. This is called the beginning or the introductory phase of the stress response cycle. You finally reach your car, you stick the key in or you push the fob, you climb in the car, shut the door, press the lock button, and you look and you discover there was no one behind you after all. Once this revelation has occurred to you, then your body relaxes. Your heart rate comes down, your breathing comes back to normal, You just feel a sigh of relief. You sink into the car seat, your shoulders begin to drop, and you start to relax. This is called the recovery phase. And the recovery phase is the most important. When you have a chronic, ongoing stress, such as this virus pandemic, you have a constant state of excitement, a constant state of high activity. It's called the reaction phase. And the reaction phase is designed to be addressed by the body chemistry as a temporary acute thing. Quick, over and done. But when that reaction phase goes on for weeks, months, or longer, the body never gets a chance to enter fully the recovery phase. And without that recovery phase, a wide variety of terrible things begins to happen. First and foremost, your adrenal glands become highly overworked and potentially exhausted. The adrenal glands are responsible for producing a wide variety of hormones, which can, when out of balance, produce weight gain, insomnia, digestive disorders, and a whole host of immunosuppressant factors. The thymus gland, which is the seat of your immune system, the spleen, the adrenal glands, the lymph nodes, all involved in immunity, begin to atrophy. During prolonged stress, the thymus gland can actually shrink in size, which is something you don't want when you're counting on your immune system to protect you from the very virus that's stressing you out. Ultimately, ulcers, bleeding ulcers, etc., can occur. Digestive disturbances because excess stress and anxiety turns off your body's ability to produce natural gastric acid in the stomach, which means you can't digest your proteins. That means you can't absorb your minerals, and this row of dominoes just keeps going on and on and on. And there's no relief in sight because that recovery period never happens, because this is an ongoing chronic stress situation that has now gone on for months and will very likely go on for many months more, whether we choose to believe it or accept it or like it or not. So the purpose of my discussion today is to help you understand various ways that you can, in fact, help to manage the stress in your life, deal with it better, and therefore reduce the potential side effects of digestive disturbances, immunosuppressant situations, and so forth. Another factor that I think we should discuss is the effect that excess stress has on blood sugar. If you are a diabetic, hypoglycemic, or if you suffer from insulin resistance, you will often find that under prolonged stress, your blood sugar fluctuates up and down more dramatically than before. And this is because of the stress effect on your pancreas in the production of insulin. When we talk about managing stress, there are several things that we should discuss. First of all, we always talk about adequate sleep. But if you're under stress and anxious, adequate sleep is not often easily attained. So what do we do about that? Well, one of the things that I have advised our people and our clients for years is to take a good multifaceted stress support formula. This should contain the B complex. It should contain organ extracts. It should contain herbal extracts such as valerian, melatonin, that will not only help you relax, but likely contribute to a better night's sleep. And I think that this is absolutely essential. The next factor we need to consider is relaxation techniques, meditation, visualization, prayer, time alone to breathe, These are all very, very important factors. And they're factors that can make a difference between a serious stress side effect situation and one that is much better managed. If you are a diabetic or a hypoglycemic, or if you have insulin resistance with fluctuating blood sugar, you might also want to consider using a blood sugar support formula containing chromium, vanadium, bitter melon, aspartic acid, etc. This will help to normalize and stabilize insulin levels, and in return, or in addition, also help to stabilize your blood sugar. If you're finding that you have digestive disturbances, which you didn't have before, or not to the extent you had before during the stress period that we're in, you might want to consider a broad-spectrum digestive enzyme that contains both enzyme precursors as well as whole enzymes. This will help ensure that you continue to digest your food, that your stomach is stimulated to produce natural gastric acid, which it needs for protein digestion and mineral breakdown and absorption. This will help ensure that you do not suffer from mineral deficiencies. These are some of the things that you can do, that each of us can do on a daily basis to help our bodies go through this stressful time with a minimal amount of negative impact. Keep in mind that I have said for years, and this current situation, this pandemic, is bearing this out once again, that stress is the cardinal cause of all disease and disorder. Whatever problems you have in your body, if you're diabetic, if you suffer from arthritis, if you have prostate problems, stress is likely to make those problems worse, because it has such a profound effect on the entire chemistry of your body. Please take time to think about these things and how you can make little changes in your life, such as diet, supplements, etc., that can actually help to make a difference. You can take a look at my stress support formula, which is being used by hundreds and hundreds of people around the world to great benefit. And you can view that formula at a Southern California company called Phoenix Nutritionals. Their website is phoenixvitamins.com, and I believe they call the product the Maximum Stress Support. They also have a digestive support as well as a blood sugar support if needed, if you are in one of those situations. Taking these extra nutrients together with a full spectrum product can make a world of difference in your overall health and your body's ability to handle existing stress with a minimum amount of damage. This is Dr. Whiting.